Mary Gadsden stood at the open French windows of their library at Shelcombe Hall, looking out into the hot, still night. Occasional flickers of distant lightning showed up the black masses of the trees at the far end of the garden. The air was oppressive, full of the heavy scent of flowers. She turned back from the window and, crossing to one of the bookcases, began searching in the drawers. Sir John Gaston, returning from seeing off the last guest of the evening, mixed himself a whiskey and soda. He was a heavily built young man of about 26, good-natured and easy-going, and, if not overburdened with brains, was rich enough to be beyond the necessity of possessing them. "Looking for something, darling." She closed the last of the drawers and turned away. "Where's the account of the Gaston ruby?" Sir John started. The soda water splashed over the edge of the glass he was holding to siphon. "Good Lord, I don't know. Who's been telling you about it?" She went to another case. "Your cousin Maud." "Stupid nonsense," said Sir John. "Nobody believes that sort of rot nowadays. I've never even read about it myself." He brought the glass to the table. "No time for stuff like that in 1932. "I simply must know all about it," she declared. He looked at her adoringly. It was only 3 weeks since, at the end of their honeymoon, he had brought her to Shelcombe Hall, the historic old home of his family, and of all the lovely chatelaines it had known. There had been none more beautiful. She was a sweet, sunny-natured girl. Already she had endeared herself to everyone. John Gaston was accounted a lucky fellow, and knew himself to be one. She came across to him. "It's too thrilling," she exclaimed, "to have married into a family with a real, live curse. Please tell me the whole story at once." He took out his pipe and filled it. "But, my dear girl, I don't know the Valley story. Never bothered about it. There's a bundle of old papers about it somewhere here, but I've no idea where they are. Probably in the cupboard over there." "I shan't think of going to bed," she said, "until I've heard all about it, from the beginning to end. See if the papers are there." He shrugged his shoulders resignedly. "All right, I'll have a look. But it's all stuff and nonsense." He went to the cupboard and began rummaging among the bundles of papers in it. "There we are. The ruby. Look out for the dust. It's filthy. Don't suppose they've been touched for years." He went to the windows and shook the dust off the package. Then he brought it to the table, and, untying the tape, sorted out the papers. She perched herself on the arm of his chair. The sheets of paper were old, and the writing on them so faded in parts as to be almost indecipherable. He selected a few and put these others down. "This looks like the beginning. I'll try to give you the sense of it. It's damn difficult to read. The death of Wilfred Gaston. What is it? July 19th, 1712. I'll have to give it in my own words. Can't read this stuff aloud. Here goes. Wilfred Gaston, who seems to have been a bit of a blob on the jolly old family escutcheon, came back from India with a marvelous ruby. He never would say exactly how he'd got it, but it was certain there'd been a spot of dirty work. There was something about robbing a temple and a priestess and some dreadful rite and all that, but the only definite thing he'd say was that there was a pretty bad curse on the stone. He was a daredevil sort of fellow, and it seemed to amuse him. It certainly didn't trouble him at all then, but about a year later he came into the title and got married. And after that he sobered down a good deal and became quite a model husband. He had a secret cupboard made in this room, locked the ruby away, and said nothing about it. And everything was okay. His wife was a beautiful woman, and they had 2 children. There was no hitch of any sort until giving a dinner party in this house in celebration of the 3rd or 4th anniversary of his wedding. I regret to say he got drunk. After dinner he produced the ruby and showed it to his guests.